Well, that was a disaster. That was just horrible. One day we are going to get this. Hopefully we're getting out. Hopefully our audio is getting out. My gosh.
I don't know why you didn't go to the screen before. You're like, we're live. Just sit there.
Well, because the audio was out.
The audio was out.
So oh my gosh.
It was a whole thing.
Sarah gave me no time to prep for this stream, guys. It's live. No, she did not. You did not. So.
Okay. Good. Okay. You
there
can
you
hear
go.
us though. Perfect. That is what matters. So we have a lot to talk about today.
Yeah. I didn't have no time. I had no time. So sorry. I'm prepping my drink now. These are lime packets.
Lime packets. I think you need to explain that a little bit more.
Lime salt.
They called it beer salt.
It's lime salt.
Yeah, it's just lime salt, like a twang or something. Hello, Lee, Brent, Carrie, Adam's here, Danny's here. Danny, did you ever get my email? Because if you did, you owe me an email back.
All right. I'm back. I'm ready.
We have our drinks.
Yep.
Our little color changing drinks. Yeah, we're good. It felt like the longest week.
Yeah. I think we had so many weeks that it was just like a lot of stuff happening that having a break having like a break to then, recording, it was just like go, and then stop.
Yeah.
So it was very weird.
Well, so our episode that came out this week, we record probably like 3 or 4 days prior to when we release it.
Yeah.
But because we had recorded 2 videos at once, like at the end of August, and then I was out of town, like that's what we were releasing. So we didn't record for like 3 or 4 weeks, maybe. It was a good chunk. It was longer than usual.
Yeah.
And so it felt like, do we know how to podcast anymore? But yeah, it's been a long week. I think, like you said, didn't travel, didn't have anything like major going on. So it just felt like the longest week.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Making sure you got the email.
Like calling you out in the highest form.
Okay, Carrie is leading us into our first topic, which is the hurricane. So there were 2, well, as we know, Hurricane Ian hit Orlando, hit Florida, hit the coast really bad. But it ended up going like straight through Orlando, straight through the theme parks. From what I've seen, there's been minimal damage to the theme parks.
Yeah.
I think Universal got some damage.
I think most of the damage was like more of the East Coast line. So if you do have family over there, go check on them.
Or friends.
Yeah, check on your friends. Because I know we've experienced hurricanes down here, and it's not fun. It just it's a big disruption to life, and it's it's nice having friends and family there to kind of just check on you and make sure you're okay and stuff like that. So
we actually watched Ordinary Adventures video about the hurricane earlier, and that's a really good one. Like if you've never experienced a hurricane, to see kind of like what it's like from a personal perspective. Now theirs is a little different because they had a planned vacation and they happened to be there, and they didn't realize that the projections said it wasn't going to hit Orlando, and so they're staying at a resort. That's not where they live. Like their perspective was a little bit different in that they were more concerned with like, yes, their safety, but just like the safety of others around them. Whereas when you're dealing with a hurricane and you're in your own house, you're like, I hope my house doesn't flood. The water's coming up. I need to move things off the ground. Like there's an extra level of like panic into it. But
so the weird thing on this one is like, since we've experienced it, so we kind of feel like veterans to the whole natural disaster. And so I start like looking at just TikToks, of people in Florida showing their videos of here's live streams of like kind of the situation as it's going live.
Yeah.
And I kind of found those videos a little, more factual than watching the weather, because the Weather Channel was like so sensationalized that I didn't know what actually was happening. Yeah. Whereas like I would watch the Weather Channel and it would have everybody's losing power, flooding everywhere, is disaster. And then you would watch videos of people like, whoa, there was like some strong wind. Like, oh yeah, there was, and yes, there was other ones where like their, first floor was flooded or cars were, blown over. Like, but it would just kind of put everything in perspective. It wasn't just like the entire state of Florida was underwater. Yeah. And which again, is something that we faced, whereas like our neighborhood didn't flood, whereas like, 2 miles, 3 miles down the road, that neighborhood did flood. So it's like you kind of see an actual representation of what was actually happening. Yeah. So I think that's one of those things to kind of always like keep everything into perspective. It was like, yes, it's bad, and we need to, check on the people that were put out. But it wasn't as bad as it could, could have, or what they were saying it was. Right.
It wasn't like catastrophic for like the entire state or something. Yeah. It was funny though, the food in Ordinary Adventures video, because they were like, they went to Target, but they went like the night before it was supposed to hit. So there was no bread. There was hardly any produce. There was very little meat. There was like no water. Like it was like, oh, been there. Yeah. And they were like, there's no bread. I guess we'll eat these English muffins with raisins in them instead of bread. And I was like, yeah,
it's slim pickings when you're
I think like usually during hurricanes, if we don't get there early enough, it's like we eat a lot of like biscuits, like bread like biscuits. Yeah, it's like it's bready enough to get you through. But yeah, it was pretty funny. It was really good.
I think from this whole thing, my main thing again, it's just you can't love them enough, the cast members. It's very difficult to be through, like to go through one of these situations, and for people that are there that are just like that, this wasn't part of their plan, and for have cast members like, if there is cast members that watch this, like you're very much appreciated, because during that time it could be stressful because of like what's going on, but you see that all these videos of them, still having little events to kind of just keep people's mind off of it. I think that's just, it's one of those things it's appreciated, but it has to be appreciated more because they make that effort to like, hey, this is a bad situation, but let's try to, keep it lighthearted or whatever. So,
yeah, no, it's tough. Kudos to all cast members, especially when there's like hurricanes and these crazy situations going on, because you don't get to be home. You don't get to, like, you're working. Yeah. You have to be on. You can't be like, I'm going to check TikTok and see what it's like.
What's going on.
Yeah, it's a tough thing, man. Gaitlin's working on the emails I sent her. Sorry, it shouldn't be too much homework, I don't think. Kelly's here. Kelly's got a trip coming up in a couple weeks. Thankfully on the other coast, so
Patrick, pardon me. Yeah, I think that's one of those things. Is like, it's a difficult thing because there's part of you that you want to take care of your own, but then there's another part of you that kind of, hey, like I have somewhat of a duty to help, like help someone else.
Compassion. If you can help somebody else feel better about the situation. Also, it helps get your mind off of things, kind of. It's stressful. Yeah. It's draining.
Well, but I think that was another thing. I was watching lives of people like during the hurricane, and they were just kind of just doing random things, playing games and stuff like that. And there's the comments of people like, oh, you should be, you're just playing games, basically. Honestly, there's nothing you can do.
Hurricanes are really boring.
When you're inside, there's nothing. You can't go and run around or anything. You're shut down. So you're just kind of hanging out, and it helps passing the time by something that you're, if it's playing board games or whatever. So it's one of those times you do have to take your time and just, relax.
Yeah. There's not much else you can do. But the first question about the hurricane was about rebooking for storm cancellations. So they're handling things It depends on where you're going, where you're staying. So for Starcruiser, they canceled the last 2 voyages of September, which is a little bit notable because March through September was the first booking window of Starcruiser that ever opened. And so that's it. The first booking window is behind us now. We're officially into like the second wave of Starcruiser bookings. So Starcruiser will reopen for tomorrow's voyage. So I did confirm that one today. So that is good. So anybody that was on a voyage that was missed, they have been rebooked at this point, and it just depends on like when they rebooked, how they handled all of that. I didn't have any clients that were impacted by that, thankfully. I do have somebody that's going tomorrow, so I was like, I need you to make sure that you have somewhere to go.
Well, I think that was one of those things is like, it's a very coordinated event where like if you're flying in, are the flights coming in? I know people during cruises, like you could get to a hotel, but the cruises weren't going out. So it's a lot of moving parts.
It's a lot of moving parts. So like I have a client that's at Disney World right now. And so they had to like extend they were supposed to fly home, I think yesterday. They had to extend their stay. If you had remaining park tickets, they extended those out for like a year. So say you had like 5 days of park tickets and you used 2 of them. They'll let you use the remaining 3 days. Like they're valid for a full year. Usually they're only valid for like, if you buy a 5-day ticket, it's good for say like 8 or 9 days. They're extending that out. So they're accommodating as much as they can, but there's some things that are hard, like the campsites. They had to completely evacuate the campsites, the bungalows, the tree houses, like the things that are really like
could be dangerous.
Yeah, like the windy type places. And so all of the people that did have reservations there, they're having to put them other places. And so it's just been, is Wani safe? I've seen Wani posting today. Wani is safe.
Go back to Galen. By the way, they are on it when it comes to injuries on the Starcruiser.
Oh no.
They're really good. They really try to keep up everyone's spirits, even during hurricanes. That's good.
That is good.
Yeah.
Well, if you were the one that got injured, we were very sorry to hear that.
But no, again, I think that's just, the cast members, like it's something that I think they take pride in, is just to making sure that everything kind of, you're on a vacation, you're trying to enjoy your time, that they're there to make sure it's a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they're incredible, but Starcruiser's reopening. The parks did like a phased reopening today, so some of them didn't open until like noon or 2 p.m. Just to make sure that they could get everything cleaned up and that it was safe for cast members and guests to come in.
Yeah.
So I think I haven't heard any different. I'm assuming they'll resume like regular operating hours tomorrow. But yeah, it's just been kind of...
Yeah,
it's a phased approach.
Yeah, it's a phased approach. That's what they're doing.
I think Universal is doing the same thing. I didn't read Universal's emails as closely because I don't have anybody at Universal till like middle of next week. So we're okay.
And then Lee, is that a Boba Star Wars shirts, Sarah?
It is. It is. I mean, I've only worn the shirt once, but I feel like I've been like recorded with wearing it like all the time. It feels like, yeah. So I guess we can talk about that. That's a very exciting announcement. That's like a huge announcement.
That is a huge. I think this is a huge accomplishment for us and for the network to have Roosevelt clothing to like sponsor us and like they're gonna sponsor Mosh and just kind of working with us, and they sent us a couple shirts and guys. So a lot of them are guy shirts, right? There's so much.
Everything we were sent were guy shirts. They have women's shirts and they have kids shirts.
For the guys, but the ladies too.
Not
as you can see.
This is a men's shirt. I tied it.
These shirts are like moisture wicking shirts.
They're Kunu Flex is the material.
Okay. It's like swim trunks material.
Like swim trunks, but not stretchy. It's not like a stretchy like a swim trunk. Like it's stretchy enough though.
Oh, they're fantastic. Like I love the shorts. Like I am incredibly in love with. Here, like, I'm gonna stand up just to kind of show them off.
They're good shorts. So you can't see them. They're probably too small for you to see them, but they're stormtroopers.
Yeah, they're stormtroopers.
But they're like neon stormtroopers.
But they are so comfortable. And then they're very like vibrant shorts. So then I could wear like a muted Spirit jersey, and
I think you wore that exact outfit out.
It's
like
perfect.
Last week.
It's perfect. So yeah, we have a code, right?
We have a code. So if you go to Roosevelt's right now and you want 20% off of your first order, use code Scoundrel and you will get 20% off. But it's an amazing company. Our friend Nick from Thank the Maker, he's the one that started like getting in touch with them at first, and then they had a booth at D23. And so when I was there a few weeks ago, I hung out with. They invited us to like one of their parties that they were throwing with Paging Mr. Morrow.
Yeah,
another YouTube channel. He focuses on Disney World. He wears Roosevelt shirts like all the time. Like it is.
I feel like we're gonna be wearing a lot of Roosevelt.
I know. And so
I just need to get that hat now.
The hat too. You're gonna need like a signature, right? Like a signature hat wear. You can't steal Peter's bucket hat. That's taken. But yeah, we went to the after party that they had with Paging Mr. Morrow the first night, and then we ended up just hanging out with Roosevelt's. Like it was either me and Dano and Nick. Like we ended up having dinner with Nick when he landed like late. Like it was dinner, but it was like 10 o'clock at night.
It's rock star life right there.
I know. And then me. But we hung out with them all weekend, and they're just an incredible group of people that are all about this community. So if you are, I think they call them shirt nerds, like the fans of Roosevelt shirts, and so you can be a Roosevelt insider, and I think it's just it's a free thing that you sign up for, and they have an app and everything. Anyway, they have this Facebook group. It's 20,000 people in this Facebook group, and they're all just like super into it and super supportive. And they like, I've been in it now for a few weeks. They're like helping each other out, and like, hey, they've got like GoFundMe's in there for like when people are down on hard times, and they're always just encouraging.
Yeah. Well, one of the, like, so when you told me about it, I was kind of like, I started looking around to see what it is.
Like this.
And it's like the shirts, they almost have like little runs of shirts. Cause it's like, oh, like, do they have this shirt? And it's like, oh no, that was like a prior run or whatever. Yeah. So I'm like, oh man, this could be bad, because it could be like, oh, I want that shirt. Like I want that shirt type of thing.
I was talking to one of them today, and he was telling me some of the upcoming collections, and I was like, oh. It's like, I'm so excited. Lee says you should go full on and get a matching shirt for those shorts.
I do have it. There is one. So Sarah's wearing the Boba Fett full ensemble.
I like to call it a romper.
The romper. It looks kind of like a romper, right?
Yeah. The shorts are long on me. I need to like tailor them a little bit to fit me a little bit better. But I came home. I went and picked up. We got drive-through Bev Eats, and I came home and you were wearing the romp. I like to call it the romper. A romp him. And I was just cracking up because I'm already wearing it, and I was like, no, we cannot match.
I mean,
that much. So we could fully match right now if we wanted.
Like the same outfit.
Like the same.
I'm not. No, I like, honestly, the shirt, like just the material on it, it's so.
It's like a cooling material.
It's a very cooling material, and so if you like run hot, it feels so good. And then for shirts, it's very. It fits forming enough that I don't feel like insecure, like if I eat a lot at dinner.
Mm-hmm. If you carb up.
If I carb up, but it feels good.
Yeah.
So I think that's like, for any of the guys out there, and ladies too, but it's a comfortable shirt.
Yeah.
It's just comfortable material. So it's not like dress wear.
No, so. I'm super excited because and they're not telling us like anything that we have to say or anything. They didn't even say we need to talk about this today. It's just like, it's really good stuff. And so we've got, are the shirts available in the parks? They are not. So I think the only way you could try them is if you were to run into them at a convention where they have things where they have a booth, because they did have sizes to try on at D23. I know they'll be at New York Comic Con next weekend, and they'll be at Mosh Isley. But that's all I know. I don't know where else they will be.
So just to kind of give you, I wear a size 34 pants, waisted pant. and I'm like literally between a medium and a large.
Yeah.
I think if I were to get a medium, it'd have to be on my skinny days, and the large is like
it's a salad day.
Yeah, it's a salad day type of thing. It's a hot day, so. But
and
yeah,
the large is a treat yourself.
I'm excited to like wear them at the parks. I think.
Yeah.
I could see why Paige and Mr. Morrow wears them at the parks because it's just like so comfortable.
They're cool.
They're cool. They're
like literally cool, not like I'm so cool. But yeah, no, they're nice. But yeah, good, like super cool dudes. Like we hung out with them at the party. We're like Dano and I are like, we'll go. We don't know anybody. We ended up staying like late and hanging out with them. Went and saw them at the booth each day at D23, and then they're like, yeah, you got dinner plans, and so went and hung out with them Sunday. Like
that was cool.
It was just it's a partnership that just kind of like clicked. We're like, you guys are really cool, and you're all about positivity and like fandoms, and that's exactly what Thank the Maker Network is. And then on top of that, they're sponsoring Mosh Isley.
Yeah.
So like that's huge.
Yeah.
So they're going to be there. They're going to be selling shirts.
Yeah. So if you're going to Mosh, we'll have some there.
It's going to, yeah. I will not be wearing one of my Roosevelt shirts. Unfortunately, we've got costumes. We've got costumes. But they're going to be bringing some cool Star Wars designs. So
that's cool.
I'm excited for that one. Thank you. Yeah. I feel like grown-ups now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Roosevelt's, they're super cool. If you want 20% off of your first order with them, use code Scoundrel. And yeah, that'll let them know that we sent you too. So, and then just, oh my God, all their stuff is just so good. It's trouble. Like looking through it.
Trouble.
I was showing you this morning. I was like, and look at these Coco designs. We're adults now. It's kind of weird. But backtracking a little bit to Starcruiser. We talked about Starcruiser, how it was closed a little bit. But in the time that we last announced, or we last had a live stream.
Yeah, you announced that we were going. I mean, we kind of teased it before that.
It was not a big.
So all the live people that were here with us, they kind of caught on to it. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna go back.
We're going back, but for like a big one. We're gonna be there for Star Wars Day on May 3rd. We're going to be on Batu on May 4th. It's a dream.
When they released the next, 23.
Oh, are you going to tell them how this came to be?
Well, it was just funny because like the 23 dates came and we were kind of like, we wanted to go back. Well, we wanted to go back. So
we were busy booking everybody too.
Yeah.
But then
I was like, I don't even know how it came up, but we were just kind of like, oh, let's go back. And again, it was just like a joke. Like, oh, we should go back the 3rd or the 4th. Because it was like, it's the 3rd.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, no, it's probably, or it was even like a 1-up. Like, oh, it'd be nice, if we, invited Dano or whatever.
Yeah.
And, he was like, oh, yeah.
So
like
bitter about the last time.
Yeah. So he was like, yeah, I'm down. So we went to go see if there was any rooms available, and there was rooms available, and we're like,
let's go.
Let's do it. And then this time we're going to have it like no kids. We're going to actually get a babysitter.
We say that now.
I think it's going to be like, I'm excited because it's going to be like true. Because I'm really going to go with the mindset. Because again, I love experiencing these things with the kids. And even the last time I was kind of like, let's try it again. Because the last time was so good. I'm not fearful that they're going to miss out on something. It's like, no, they were able to experience it. We had a good time. So it was like, okay, that's not the issue. Yeah. It's a different experience because we're going to go with adults and I'll be able to go and hang out with you guys. So
it's going to be fun. We do have a pretty decent size group going too. Like backstory, and like I don't want to name any names because like we don't have people that have like fully committed to it yet, but we do have friends that are considering going, and so we're like, we've got to go back to Starcruiser, and we've been talking about it for months.
Yeah,
I think since the first Starcruiser voyage we went on, we were like, we have to figure out when to go back. And so when they released the 2023 dates, that's when you were just kind of like, I mean, May 3rd would be kind of cool. I'm like, May 3rd would be really cool, and so we picked it, we went with it. And then just whoever can join us will join us.
I think that's that, again, having it more of like the kid free, I'm like, let's just let's just party.
Oh, it's gonna be. I was really drunk last time with the kids.
So,
but then we have people. We have people in somebody wants to go. So, I mean, I'm not going to call you guys out by names, but I know some of the people in here that want to come with us have submitted the form. We're underway with that. I booked a handful of people today. That was the other thing, is like with the hurricane and them having to cancel 2 Starcruiser voyages, that's potentially 200 families that they are trying to rebook. And so I was like, I'm not calling. Like,
let them do their thing.
I had people ready to book earlier this week, and I was like, out of respect for the hurricane and those cast members and everything they're dealing with, I will not book until this whole thing blows over. Bad word choice. Until this whole thing is over. But things have calmed down a little bit. I had to call today anyway to check on tomorrow's voyage, and so they said,
yeah. No, I mean, I think that's like the thing, is like trying to give them time to kind of settle themselves, because they may shift people around and to help out and stuff. So that's done. So we do have a few more passengers that are going with us as of today, so that's going to be really fun. I'm so looking forward to it. But the thing is like, that's May. That's like a really long time away. I know with the holidays and everything, I think it'll come a lot faster than you think, because of the holidays, because we have, I mean, our schedule fills up pretty fast, which is crazy to think, but it fills up pretty fast. It really does. I've been making jokes with friends lately. We have some friends we've been trying to meet up with for like 2 months, and I'm like, how's February? It's crazy. Because like, we're truly like, well, and I think, so one of the things that, because you are, because we have the kids, like D23, I said, go ahead and travel, instead of trying to like, quote unquote, hold you back. But I'm saying like, hey, go and go get this, because it's easier to get, a one person 4-day pass than trying to get 2 people 4-day passes type of thing. Like, at least we're able to somewhat experience it, and then you're still bringing that, we could still have that conversation afterwards. So, I think that's where we're kind of divide and conquering type of thing, instead of, them having to worry about a babysitter and stuff like that. So because that's a new realm for us too. Is like, we don't leave our kids, like we don't go out, the 2 of us. Like, it's rare. Rare. And so for us to be traveling without our kids now is like, it's a big deal. Yeah. Well, I mean, we're pretty lucky to have family that have like, that we could kind of call them, not on a whim, but hey, we're thinking about traveling this day. You think you could, take over? So, no, it's we're super lucky for that. And you get to go on the next trip. Well, kind of. I have like a work thing. Yeah, you have a work thing. Do the week of Mosh Isley in Orlando, of all places. I would love to go, but the kids. I know. But I'll be in Orlando for the first part of that week, and then I come home, and then we fly to Vegas for Mosh Isley. Yeah, that's the next big thing. That's the next big one. If you haven't gotten your Mosh tickets, go get your Mosh tickets. Hey, Jacob. Jacob's going to Starcruiser next year. Yes, Heroes of the Halcyon is going to be there with us. Me a lot. I booked them last week, not today. I think they were there like on the first one. They were like, here we go. Here's our stuff. I was like, I got you. But yeah, we got Mosh coming up. So. Yes. Tickets are at moshisley.com if you've not bought tickets for that yet. If you're going to be there for, it's going to be so good too. So it's like the second weekend of When We Were Young Fest. So just like every emo band you could imagine is going to be playing a festival the next day. It's Halloween weekend. It's in Vegas. Yeah. Like, did you ever think that we were going to be in Vegas for Halloween weekend? Like us, you and me. No. It's going to be we're going to be so out of our elements. Like, we're so lame. How are we going to hang with all these like really cool people? I mean, I'm going to have a helmet on, so. How is your helmet going? It's giving me ulcers. I'm stressing out. I know you are. You have a month. You literally have almost like an entire, you have a full 4 weeks from today. Well, it's because like I baby step it. I wish I was like better about just getting it done, knocking it out. but I'm not.
But here's our MO. The fact that you're working on it so far ahead of time is actually incredibly impressive to me, because our MO is
very much last minute.
Wait till 2 weeks before and then be like, oh no.
Maybe that's what I need. Like when I have all the time in the world, I take my time, but when it's crunch time, I get it done. So maybe that's what it is. Like if I don't,
you're in your element. Like you're the procrastination station. Like you love to get things done at the last minute, and it always comes out so good. And now that you have time to stress about it, like over like
I'm
months,
stressing about
you're
it.
just stressing about it for like months. So maybe we figured it out. I'm working on mine. Do you want to talk about what you're going to be, or do you want it to be a surprise?
Yeah, we could let it be a surprise.
Okay, that's fair.
That way, like I don't nail myself down to anything. If I just decide to like,
that's why I don't
throw a curveball.
That's why I don't announce what I'm going to be. It's not because I'm like, oh, I'm going to hold this and it's going to be a huge surprise and it's going to be amazing. It's like, no, I don't know if I'm going to finish it. And so if I don't want that pressure.
I may be an Ewok. I don't know. Yes, Lee.
Cosmo Kitty, I think I know who you, based off of, I think what your email is, I think I know who you are. But yes, second Starcruiser trip, they will be joining us. Birdie Bantha. Didn't we come up with a name for like, if I was Betty Bantha, because where does the green milk come from again? I thought we came up with a name for it. I don't remember. Yes, Amy. Okay. Yeah, Amy's going to be with us. It is the challenge of last minute.
So
Kelly. Yeah, Kelly will be in Vegas, like, or in Anaheim, like the week before. So
there was a video I watched, and I don't remember where it was. Like, I think it was maybe a Tom Segura video.
Who's that?
It's a comedian. Him and they have a podcast together. Another comedian have a podcast together, and they were talking about how you always dream of having like a Lamborghini, and once you get it, you're not as like happy. It's that pursuit of that Lamborghini, that dream of that Lamborghini, that is what like you strive for. So like you have that dream of this is what you want. And that's what keeps you motivated. But once you get it, you're kind of like, like, okay.
Where are you going with this?
No, I don't know. It was just like,
okay.
it was just reminding me of like, you know, that journey of like building these costumes or whatever. It's like, you get excited because you want
a much smaller scale than like a Lamborghini.
Well, no, because he's a lot higher level than us, but that's what he was talking about. It's just like when you're dreaming of it, you're dreaming of like, okay, this is what I want. So sometimes it's not necessarily the end goal that makes you happy. It's that journey, that talking, figuring out, trying to overcoming these. Because like today I was like really frustrated because of this stencil that I couldn't get this stencil done. And I was, couldn't get it figured out, and you helped me figure it out.
You like bled ink on my Cricut, like all over my Cricut. I tried to clean it up, and it just like smeared. I was like, "What did you do?"
No, the
you didn't even need ink. A pin. I don't know why you had a pin in there.
Well, because I didn't know, because it was wanting to print.
Yeah.
So, but getting it done, and so now it's just like a funny story of, I was frustrated for nothing. You were able to figure it out, so.
I did. And you were like, don't help me.
Help
figure
me.
it out on my own.
Help me.
You're like, don't help me, but help me, please. I'm like booking a cruise, and I'm like doing this over here and then fixing the Cricut over here. I felt like the man in the chair.
Yeah.
Except I don't. I stand. What do we miss? Birdie Bantha.
Yes, you can, Jacob.
Yes, absolutely. Do not ever feel pressured to drink, to hang out with any of us. Like, I am the lightest of weights. They were talking about shots, like doing shots at Mosh Isley. I was like, no. Like, I haven't done that since I was like 21. No. Like, I became a mom.
Get a nice like sips. Like, give me a little straw with it.
Right? Like, I just want a little spritzer, please. I'm going to be, I'm going to have to be like, when they like take the shots and they're like throwing it over their shoulder, that's going to be me all night. I think we are going to do some themed drinks though for Mosh Isley.
That's going to be cool.
That's going to be fun.
Again, this is where that journey is like how Mosh is kind of like evolved.
I know.
Right?
I mean, and this is only our second one.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what it's going to be like? That's the conversation Dano and I have been having. Is like, he's like, this is just the beginning, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's crazy.
Yeah. No, I think that's like the exciting thing is like the exciting thing is just like kind of talking about it and it evolving and stuff. So,
well, even before we started any of this, you know, firsthand, like the most exciting part of a Disney trip to me is planning a Disney trip, or it used to be.
Yeah.
I mean, like now I do that like for a partial living. So like I am always in this high of like, where are we going to go? What are we going to do? Like, where are we going to put you? But like the best part of a Disney trip before I became a travel agent for us, because that was the only like contact I had with Disney, was planning the vacation. It was like, where do we want to start our park days? What do we want to do? And we always have this plan of like, what's the one thing we want to accomplish each day? We set our bar very low. We just say like one thing each day. But it was that planning. I'll show you a picture in a second. But it's the planning of the trip that's the exciting part. And then like a week before the trip, when it's time to like pack and do everything else, I would get like super sad. And I'd be like, it's over. The trip's over. You're like, we don't leave for a week. And I'm like, but all the fun stuff is over. Ash sent me, I don't think it looks like me, but it was I don't think I can pull it up quick enough. It's a picture of a WWE wrestler that has like hair like mine, but it was kind of purple and like kind of looks generally like a middle-aged woman. She was a very pretty woman. But yeah, that's what Ash thinks I do on the side is I wrestle.
Be one of those like the skaters where they do
roller
the
derby.
Roller derby.
No, could you ever see me? No.
Oh, see, Carrie, that's the exciting thing is being able to think about potentially having at different places.
Yeah,
like that's
But I think that's the cool thing. Like Mos Eisley was such a special night for me personally, just because it was just we grew up listening to that music.
I think Mosh, the first one, was very much
the only one.
Well, the only one right now, but it was so like, here's an idea. Mm-hmm. We had no idea of it, like what was going to happen of it. Now, it kind of feels like it could be a thing where we could take it to different places. Yeah. And that's exciting. Like the fact that it was like an idea that we're a part of an idea that could, that people enjoy. That's like a crazy thing.
And like want to have in their hometowns. Yeah. Like one of our local people was like, hey, are you going to do one here? I was like, hopefully, eventually. Like, I don't know what the future looks like. We're already starting to talk about some of the future events for like 2023. So I think we already have like probably two that are pretty for certain at this point. Like we've already have like venues and stuff like that. That we're not locked in, but that we're
looking at.
We're thinking about, and we're talking to them. But yeah, we want to do this when we don't want it to be, at least right now. Like we're still. If you saw the behind the scenes of this, like it is, let me say it's a grassroots effort, but it's cool that we've made this thing that people feel as strongly and positively about as we do. Cause like we love Mos Eisley. Like it's just been this, like a little passion project. Yeah. I mean, all these things that we've done have been passion projects, but Mos Eisley, I think, is, especially for like you and me, a avenue for us to be a little more, not wild, but just like we get to feel youthful again. Like it's not a mom and dad type of thing. That's what I'm thinking. Is like it's a way for us to be individuals together. Like it's not as like separate but together. Yeah, separate but together. But no, we're not like mom and dad. Yeah, we're not mom and dad at all. So I think that's if like you look at the pictures, we were not mom and dad. And if you see our outfits for the next ones, we don't look like moms or dads. No. But yeah, I can't say enough good things about Mos Eisley. Like, it's just been so much fun.
And you want to see my toast?
Toast. Let me see. Oh, I'm way behind. Have you ever thought of partnering with Scum and Villainy Cantina in LA? We have had some discussions around Scum and Villainy, but nothing concrete yet. Because I don't think Scum and Villainy has like a avenue or a venue for us to like host a Mos Eisley. Next Mosh in Austin, just throwing it out there. I wrestle to pay for Starcruiser. Mosh, the third one. The third one, I think, is going to be announced pretty soon after.
You think?
The second one, I think so. It's so planned. So, but part of the thing is like we are wanting to. I think our main thing is like hosting Mos Eisley around conventions.
Yeah,
because that's where you're going to get like the biggest like group of Star Wars fans, and so this one's a little bit different because like we're targeting like emo fans and people that are in Vegas on Halloween weekend, and I don't know that people that are in Vegas on Halloween weekend are necessarily
Star Wars fans.
Star Wars emo fans. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, the ticket sales are good. Like we're fine, but it's like a little experiment that we're doing that worked out because half of the team is already in Vegas that weekend anyway. Yeah. So we're like, well, we want to go to Vegas.
It's almost like we need to have like a documentary of of like it afterwards, because
is that going to be your job?
My job is just to document the whole thing. But it's just like, it's just funny because like that's, you know, that was a big a leading point of, you know, picking where we were picking. Yeah. I was like, hey, we wanted to do another one. Where's everybody at this one?
Yeah, so. we had a lot of discussions about where to host the second one, because con season is really kind of like March, maybe April through maybe October. It's kind of like hurricane season a little bit. You don't con too much in the winter months is what it seems like. Yeah. And I wasn't aware of this.
Which is weird because like there's a lot of layers in a costume. You would think that
maybe because of just like the holidays and things like that.
I'm thinking too, like when a lot of the northern states, it's like snowing, so you can't really move around. Yeah, we don't get that.
We don't get that. But yeah, so the conventions are usually like in the warmer-ish months of the year. So it's like, oh, okay, like we already did one in May. We have to figure out how to do another. We want to do at least 2 a year, if not a few more. How do we do one this year?
Yeah.
And yeah, it was like, well, there's one We Were Young Fest. Like a few of us are going to be in town. Dano lives there. And it was like, well, that's good enough reason. Let's go. So yeah, it's been cool. It's nice having one under our belt because we at least know that
I think
we know what we need.
I'm definitely going to try to work on a B2 for the future. Now the only thing is I have to figure out if I were to make a rolling one, like an actual rolling one, I would not be able to like necessarily travel with it.
No, you couldn't travel with an emo.
So it would have to be like a stationary one that I could put together and take apart.
Yeah.
But can we move on to Andor?
Talk about droid talks.
Droid talks with Steven. Oh man, B2's like, he moves incredibly, and it's another God. Matt Denton droid.
Of course it is.
So if you don't know, Matt Denton like was part of the, like him and Josh were part of the BB-8.
Did Matt Martin also work on B2 Emo? I think he did, which kind of makes sense if it is called Emo because of the name B2 Emo.
I don't know. I know Matt, like when I saw the pictures, it was Matt, Josh.
Matt Martin worked on BD. On BD1.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So.
Or he worked on Fallen Order. We know that much.
Maybe. I don't know.
Could be.
So, but yeah, just like the articulation on that droid, it's just incredible. Like there's just, and I think that was a funny thing. Is like when I was watching it, I was like analyzing, like, wait a minute, like he's moving he's moving left, right,
that way. It was like so many planes of motion.
And so I just like kept watching. I was like, oh my gosh, like he moves so smooth. It's not like clunky.
And then he talks.
That was like the weirdest thing ever for me. Like it was just like
Andor spoilers. I don't think that's really a spoiler.
It threw me off so much. And again, it's not too weird because like Dio talked
yeah, I guess you forget about Dio because Dio was just like such a small part of one movie.
Yeah.
Typically, if a droid's talking, you expect them to be like
human-like. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. B2 Emo is, I love him, man. He's still not. If you're gonna do another droid and one that like rolls like that on tracks, who's it gonna be?
It's probably going to be B2, but eventually we'll do Wally. So
I've been asking for Wally for like the longest time. I just want a Wally, and I just want to walk by, and he just goes like, bum, 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 bum. Like that's all I want, and I just like a little motion activated. That's all I want. Oh man, everyone crashed Dano's place. You know, Dano didn't even offer to let us stay at his place.
Not that
I would want to. Like he's got his family and everything.
Yeah,
that's why it's called Princess and Scoundrel, because we're a little princessy about. We like our own space. Someone wants to do Sacramento. crashes into Dano's house.
The
Frosted Flakes and Princess and Scoundrel. That sounds lovely. I had a bowl of Frosted Flakes today for lunch.
But I'm gonna admit it here on our channel.
Don't say it.
And it may be a hot take, controversial. Oh, I'm not like wild about Andor. Like this last episode, like it started getting me kind of excited for it, but I don't know. It's just like, and I've been thinking about it like since it came out. You know, like okay, let me watch it again. Let me see like, does it, just get me to feel like Star Wars? And I'm not like, oh, I got to see the next episode. Like I'm not as excited as like any of the other ones. I don't know if it's like something's wrong with me. Maybe like my mental state at the time, like at this moment, is not like in that state of Star Wars and fan. Like I don't know what it is, goodness. But it's just something like I'm not like head over heels for it. So and I have to like get it out now because I don't want someone to ask and I like let someone down.
I like that you don't like one small show in all of the Star Wars universe and you're like, is something wrong with me? Am I dying?
It's not that I don't like it. It's just like I'm not like connecting with it.
Yeah, it's a very different feel. Like it's not Star Wars at this grand, huge level of like the ultimate bad guy, like going against the ultimate bad guy and Death Stars and Starkiller bases and all these things. It's very much like the everyday, like the day in the life of the rebellion type thing where it's like a normal person and their not even a normal person. I guess it's maybe a little step above, but it just feels like a way smaller scope into Star Wars than what we've seen before.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't explain it yet.
Quick take Steven's temperature. Should I admit it?
What?
I fell asleep on episode 4.
So like we're speaking truths right now.
But I fell asleep. I had the hardest time staying awake for the first couple episodes of Boba Fett. Also, like that first episode of Boba Fett.
Yes, Patrick. I'm going to say yes right now because I wanted to make sure we go back on it. But go ahead.
Okay. No, the first couple episodes of Boba Fett, and we watched those middle of the day. I fell asleep. They were just like slow starts. But by the end of Boba Fett, I was totally into it. Well, and I anticipate it being the same with Andor.
So I think the thing, and because Boba Fett was Boba Fett, there is that immediate connection, association with Star Wars. So you kind of like...
But like with original Star Wars too, right?
Yeah.
Like Andor, he was part of Rogue One, so it's kind of like this it wasn't like Star Wars from the beginning of Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, there's not the lightsabers and Force type of thing, which I guess we won't talk about it, but yes, Patrick, this is what, this discussions with Sarah, and this is what I told her. I was like, I kind of felt like with them introducing certain words as canon, some of the weapons, it didn't feel like a galaxy far, far away. It felt like a solar system 2 doors down type of thing. Like, it was not, it felt too close to, like,
should have said 3 doors down.
That's weird.
It's a band.
I know, but
oh, okay.
But yeah, it doesn't feel like Star Wars. It didn't feel like, now the ship, when, like, again, episode 3, 4, I kind of like, okay, this is starting to feel like Star Wars, but it wasn't immediately giving me like, oh man, we're in a Star Wars story. It was just like a space story.
Yeah.
So again, but I'm not going to criticize it. Like, it's not bad. It's a good story.
Yeah.
It's just not like,
it hasn't
getting me.
us.
Yeah, it hasn't hooked me yet.
Yeah. We didn't even watch it day one. We watched it last night.
The fourth episode. Yeah.
And we only watched it last night because we knew we were live streaming tonight. And so if we didn't watch it last night, we couldn't watch it till like Saturday. And then yeah, it's interesting. It's okay if you don't like it.
So the British accents.
Well, Lee, you're from the UK, so like to us, they just all sound the same. Ash says you're not alone. Andor isn't really doing it for me. It's just so far removed from what I want in Star Wars. And then how about those Easter eggs in the last episode? Everybody's going crazy about the Easter eggs.
Well, so, I mean, I caught again, I don't know, we talk about it, but if you have, it's the Starcruiser suit, which I think that's like the to me was the most blaring.
Okay, I'm ignorant when it comes to that. What is that?
So Starkiller was the game Force Unleashed that came out on PlayStation, I believe it was. I mean, it came out on the consoles like a long time ago.
Okay.
And it was like not canon, but it was this Force user that was trained under Vader, which was kind of like the Inquisitors. Like, he was
like Starkiller. Wasn't that the original name for Luke? Okay.
So
but this is different.
This is a different one.
Okay.
And he basically, when he was, I believe it was defeated by Vader, or he started working for Palpatine, but he was wearing this suit. So it was like kind of like the Knights of, and that's why initially I thought it was like Knights of Ren.
Oh, okay.
Because I was like, wait a minute, what was that? So then I started looking it up. But yeah, there was a whole story that was kind of like right before it was like everything was canonized. And I am seeing people talk about that they really feel that Starkiller is going to be canonized. Which is, but the crazy,
it kind of is now, right?
So the crazy thing is the character model.
That the one with the
no, the character model is that one guy that's bald. He's Darth Maul's voice.
Yeah, that's what we said. Sam Witwer.
Yeah, Sam Witwer. Like, he was the model character. Like, he was like the actual.
Oh, okay.
They used his face.
Yeah, kind of like Cal Kestis and Moynihan, or I forget his name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That one, and then the Battlefront.
Okay.
That girl from Inferno Squad. But yeah, they use his face. And
so Sam Witwer could be a live action.
He could be, which would be awesome because he was
when did this
small.
movie come out?
What movie?
I mean the game.
The game was like
old.
Kind of, I think, where Kenobi would be, like this time.
Yeah, but like when did it come out?
Oh, this is a long time.
I mean,
this is not canon. This is all before it's done, whatever. But there's just like, now, but they've already had the Starkiller base. They've already they're like sprinkling in all these Starkiller, teases. So, the one video I saw, and this was a while back, is they don't think they should bring him in. They don't think they should canonize him because. Oh, it was the ship. He was when they were holding the ship, like when Rey did it, and then when Vader did it. Starkiller was the first one to bring down a Star Destroyer. And that was like the big, huge, like, dude, this guy's like crazy strong.
Yeah.
And so these were like, again, teases at Starkiller. And the thing is like people like, I've seen people say like they shouldn't bring him in because they're not going to make him as badass as he was in the game.
I think the hard thing is like bringing in a really strong character like that now, especially because of where it is in the story, where it's like between the prequels and the original trilogy, is like you're not going to see them again unless you drop them into like a Mando.
Well, again, like I don't think that's the hard part. I think again making him as badass as he like. There's the expectation of him being such a badass where it's like you bring him in and he's just complete weak, or just like a more of an emotional character. And it's like no, he was just like a strong character.
But I mean, they brought in Black Chrysanthemum, and he was a very strong character.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, but they have the armor or the
they showed it. Yeah,
but here's the thing: is like they focus like coming out of this episode, and it's not spoilers, but like everybody's talking about the Easter eggs of the episode, and nobody's actually talking about the plot of the episode.
Yeah,
like even Thank the Maker. I haven't gotten all the way through their episode yet. How far am I? Oh, I can't see it. But I've gotten a good amount of the way through, and like they were most excited about the Easter eggs.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it'll come. The other thing that I thought was interesting is that I thought they were time jumping. I thought it was every 3 episodes we were going to time jump.
No, it's the seasons.
It's the seasons?
Yeah.
I thought it was like a 3 episode arc, and then we jump, and then we jump, and then we jump.
No, I think this one's like going to be one like this time.
And then we'll jump a couple years.
Yeah.
The OP characters.
Yes, a little bit
catch Indy's Whip and Fertility Idol. Did you catch that?
In the back,
yeah. I didn't. Why didn't you say anything to me? I was asleep.
Yeah.
I was awake. I only fell asleep for like the last couple minutes of the episode.
So, yes, Force Unleashed 2008.
Last parts of Rogue One made it one of my favorite Star Wars movies, so Andor could do the same. So I did not enjoy Rogue One on first watch. I think it's an okay movie, but it just doesn't feel like a Star Wars movie. It's just not.
So I think, one of the aspects of it that I kind of, and again, this is just kind of like me looking at, seeing other people's conversations. Do you think of Star Wars as a sci-fi or a fantasy? So the audio is still here. So Sarah's just thinking about right now.
It's a sci-fi.
So,
and I want to say like 100% a sci-fi. But then if you ask me that question, it's like, well, you're asking for a reason.
So I think it is more fantasy than sci-fi. Because I think sci-fi, there is established, like it's almost on fact. Like there's future, but it's based on fact. So we think of just technology that it could happen. Like this is that technology that could happen. They build a time machine or spaceships, but it's still based on fact. Whereas fantasy is like things could happen for magic reasons, for the Force. And that is more Star Wars to me.
Give me an example of sci-fi. Is Star Trek sci-fi?
That would be more sci-fi than fantasy.
They're teleporting.
But there is science. There is science based behind like why they are able to time or to travel. You know what I mean? Like, yes, they are doing that in Star Wars, but
midichlorians.
The Force. How can you explain the Force with science?
Midichlorians.
I am not. I am. Look, I am. Count. I am checking out of that.
But when I think fantasy,
I
think fantasy, I think like dragons and stuff. But there's crate dragons.
Again, I think the thing is like sci-fi. There is like that. It's fiction, but there's science based to it. This fantasy is there's no explanation for things happening or for some things happening. And that is like the Force. Like there's no explanation for why or how the Force. And they kind of try to do it with midichlorians, but that's no. We're not doing that. That was a thought, but that's not it.
No, but I thought they brought midichlorians back with like
midichlorians exist, but they are not the reason for the Force.
Space fantasy, space opera, fantasy. Whoa.
Space fantasy, okay. Space fantasy.
Well, this is...
See? I mean, I think that's... So, this Andor doesn't feel...
It doesn't feel
so
like either.
Fantasy. It feels more real. Which is... And again, it's good. And there's story there that, like, we could relate to. But I don't get that.
Like Mon Mothma
and maybe
saying, it doesn't always have to be sad and boring.
I think so I don't know. Again, I'm still gonna watch it. I'm still gonna get the story and
it's new Star Wars. Why not?
And see what they got, new Greeblies and new props and stuff like that. So
what? You really like throwing things.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
A new perspective on life for you, Sarah.
Is there something wrong with me? Okay, we did not have Andor on our list of things to talk about, though. I don't know if you knew that.
I just wanted to make sure I said it because it had to be said, I think.
Okay.
Well, Lee, don't talk about it yet. I need to watch. Like, there's so many. So
You're not going to watch Rings of Power.
Yeah, I am.
When?
Eventually.
Okay.
Once I get done with all my shows.
All your shows. We have no shows. We have 2 shows. What are they?
No, we have. I watch Naruto on my own.
Okay, you've been watching Naruto for like a year.
I watch Dragon Ball Z with the kids.
You do watch that.
I watch Andor with you.
Yes.
And then we've been watching Ted Lasso.
So good.
So
I want to watch Ted Lasso tonight. If
we've been watching. I have like a gamut of shows.
You know what? It has been so nice to watch TV lately. We do not watch, like, we
haven't watched in a while. Yeah.
I think ever since we started doing all of this, which has been almost a year and a half now, that like you were streaming, I was and then I like slowly started getting into the travel agent stuff and like the marketing and everything. But like for the last probably year, things have just been like full steam ahead.
Yeah.
We literally only watch like the things that we need to watch.
To survive, like
Star Wars, like the major like theatrical release movies, and not even all the major Marvel stuff.
I mean,
we haven't seen Eternals.
We didn't talk about Deadpool 3.
Oh my god, we didn't talk about Deadpool 3.
I love me some Ryan Reynolds. So.
And Wolverine.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Are you about to cry?
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Like I will be so upset if we don't see him in his yellow costume. But anyways, that's the next thing.
Okay.
Next thing.
Forget TV.
Hocus Pocus 2?
Hocus Pocus 2. Nobody is talking about Hocus Pocus 2. And I think there's a reason why. It is not Star Wars.
It came out today.
In that, Star Wars fans will stay up till midnight to watch 3 episodes of Andor, 2 episodes of Kenobi. Star Wars fans are... There's a lot of us. But like Hocus Pocus, it came out 25 years ago. And now that there's a new movie coming out, you've got to dedicate 2.5 hours or 2 hours probably to watch it. I wanted to watch it before.
It's Halloween season coming up, so I think it's going to get watched several times.
It will be watched. They did not market it very well, I don't believe. But I am so excited for Hocus Pocus 2. Like, Hocus Pocus was like... It felt like such a treat to watch that show growing up because it didn't come on the Disney Channel very often. And so when it did, back in the days before like DVR and there was commercials and like I was glued.
It's a very peculiar.
It's a weird movie.
The fact that they were looking for virgins. It's like, that's like a very
and it's like a 16-year-old version, right? Like, of course.
It's, like,
and
it's a very
made
weird
fun of them.
So,
but oh my god, like I loved Hocus Pocus. The fact that it is
the Ghostbusters lightsaber.
New one, I'm so excited. Yeah, I had no idea back then. Like when you're watching that as a kid, like the original Hocus Pocus, you're like, okay, whatever. And you watch it now and you're like,
you're just looking at Thackeray Binks.
Oh, Thackeray Binks. Oh, Kelly watched it. Yeah, I'm going to have to watch that. I know we're supposed to go hang out with people tomorrow, but I may just stay home and watch Hocus Pocus too. Bazingas. Yeah, the Deadpool 3 announcement was really...
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know why I watched it, probably because I was just like, oh, Ryan Reynolds, let me see what he has to say.
That's exactly why I watched it.
He was in a cabin. He was like, oh, he has no ideas. Okay, whatever. And then you see Hugh Jackman walk by and you're like, oh, no. Like, because the two of them have such a... I don't know if they're really like... I don't think they're like that at all, like, in
I think
real
they are.
life.
I think they are.
No, but they're, like, mean to each other, like, publicly. Like, they poke at each other
They
publicly.
poke at each other, yeah.
It's like me and Dano, where Dano and I are just like constantly like butting heads, but then like personally, like when we're texting each other, we're not like that all the time.
They were looking for you, huh? No, I think so.
Happy birthday to your kid, by the way.
When I was like cutting the grass, I had my headphones on.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about Ryan Reynolds. But I'm cutting the grass and I'm like, this dude.
Why wouldn't you be?
Yeah, I mean,
when aren't you thinking about Ryan
Reynolds?
Who's
not? But he plays one character. When he was
my God.
Van Wilder, he was in Waiting. He was in with
Two
Sandra
guys,
Bullock.
a girl in a pizza shop. Oh, the proposal.
The proposal, like he was the exact Deadpool. Green Arrow, like he was that.
It's like Samuel L. Jackson.
He was that sarcastic jerk.
Yeah.
Or that lovable, sarcastic jerk. Every time.
Every time.
So is that Ryan Reynolds, or is that the performing Ryan Reynolds?
Well,
whatever.
We'll never know.
We'll never know. So.
But then the fact that he's married to Blake Lively.
Lucky guy.
Okay. Calm down.
That's why I was thinking about him.
But she's so like, she seems silly, but she does not seem on like the same silliness level as Ryan Reynolds. You know?
I think he's just like has to outdo it.
What's that like?
He has to outdo her. Like,
but what if she's the sillier one?
That's what I'm saying. Like she's
life?
like, I'm not gonna even try because I know he's gonna be even more silly.
Yeah. Publicly.
Yeah.
That's like us. You play it like very cool. But when we are like, when you know that there's nobody else watching us, you are very silly.
I mean, if you want to say I'm Ryan Reynolds, then
you're my Ryan Reynolds. How about that? Can I be your Blake Lively?
Yeah.
Okay. He says as he rolls his eyes. Oh, Just Friends. I forgot about Just Friends.
Was that the one where he wore the fat suit?
Did he wear the fat suit on that one?
Yes.
Okay. I don't remember. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The show's earning its After Dark moniker. Ryan Reynolds and The Rock. The Rock does play the same character every time. Even Maui.
Yeah.
Oh, no. That ruins it for me. I love The Rock. Dang it. It's true. It's true, LeFou.
What else?
Okay, so it's not at
all. Onto our podcast. Like that was like the main thing.
Podcast. That was that was the big thing that we were going to talk about today. I wrote down everything we were going to talk about. So we talked this week about IPs in the park, and we went and had dinner with my family this week. And did I tell you this? My sister was like, "Thanks for explaining what IPs were," and I was like, "Are you giving me a hard time right now?" And she's like, "No, I literally like didn't know," and I was like, "Oh, okay." But yeah, so we talked about IPs. We talked about their place in the parks. People, getting a little upset that there's more IPs coming to the parks. And so I doubled down. We had our conversation about it. We released our episode about it. I doubled down. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go through every park in the country. I'm going to write down every attraction that is not a Disney IP or that might be due for some kind of like a retheme.
Well, even afterwards when again, it's so funny because when we do have conversations, we almost like have debates, right?
They're so fun.
Well, they end up becoming a debate because it's like, okay, you take a stance, either it's for or against the IPs.
Yeah.
And the other one, I'll take, okay, that it's for or against, the IPs.
Right.
But we were specifically talking about Disney, right? We weren't even talking about Universal. We weren't talking about Six Flags. But we started thinking about Universal. None of their park is non-IP.
Is that true?
I don't think so. I was trying to think of rides, but there's nothing there because they're all based off of movies. It's Universal Studios.
Literally Universal Studios, but at the same time, it's literally Disney. When did Universal? That's an episode. When did Universal Studios theme park open up? What's the story of that?
I don't know. I mean, look at that.
We do.
But then I was just kind of like, those are, all IPs. So I think Disney just immediately gets the hate because
it's Disney.
They're the big dogs.
Yeah.
But everything over there is IP. So.
It didn't used to be. There was the Duel of the Dragons ride.
Yeah. But if you recall, that dragon area, the fantasy area of Universal.
Was it fantasy or sci-fi?
It was fantasy. But it was remember, it was supposed to be the Animal Kingdom. All those people from Animal Kingdom that were going to be in the fantasy. I don't remember I think it was a Defunct Land video that I was watching. That when Fantasyland at Disney or Animal Kingdom.
Fantasyland. It was like a dragon. It was fantasy, but it was like more dragons.
Yeah.
Like the fantastical creatures.
But that area, those people working on that, because that didn't work out, Universal basically like scooped them. What? You don't remember that? I'm pretty sure it was a Defunct.
It was not one of our critical TV times. I wasn't there.
It was mandatory watching. I'm pretty sure that's where they came up with that, and they came up with the Duel and Dragons.
That was a good ride.
Because remember they had like that Atlantis area.
Yeah, and everybody stands in front of it and takes that picture.
Yeah, with the.
Okay. Oh man, we missed a lot of things. Okay. Thought about what dinosaur could be rethemed to. Oh yeah, Patrick left a comment on our video about retheming of dinosaur. So we know that they're thinking about doing Zootopia, which it makes sense. Like honestly, I couldn't see them doing anything but Zootopia
at Animal Kingdom.
Because they already have kind of like a dedicated space for Lion King. I mean, I guess that's really it. They've got Pandora. But like there's enough Lion King presence there. There's not really any like animal heavy IPs except for Zootopia. And Zootopia's been like kind of a sleeper hit.
It's an interesting, it's not an animal like Lion King. It's more of that walking animal type of. I don't know how to like.
Not a realistic animal. Yeah, that's what you're saying. Yeah.
So.
Oh, Ice Age. Does anybody care about Ice Age anymore? No offense. Like not. I
think Danny. I think that would probably, and this is where we were kind of going with this conversation. Is like where would they actually go? Because they talked about Zootopia and Moana at Animal Kingdom. I don't know about Moana at Animal Kingdom because it doesn't feel.
Animal Kingdom feels
there's
jungly more.
Yeah. Well, but the thing is like more the lands type of thing. So I could kind of see where Moana, but
it's not so much the seas.
I would hate for Moana to be at Animal Kingdom and then at Epcot and like just like so spread out. Like,
I mean, wherever I can get her, I love Moana. True. But yeah, she seems to fit more into.
I think the Ice Age would go better like at Hollywood Studios because it is like
really
part of the movies. They could find like
take but that Ice Age makes sense
take
for
that
like
the
dinosaurs.
The Frozen Ever Afters play, move that to Epcot, so it's all together, all the Frozen stuff.
Okay, if you move it, that's fine.
Put Ice Age over there. Have
I love
Scrat
the
just like
along. Scrat.
What was his name?
I think that's his name.
Yeah, have him just chasing around a walnut while the story's going on.
It's an acorn.
Acorn.
That's true. Universal was announced before Hollywood Studios. Disney created Hollywood Studios to compete. Oh, well, there you go. Kind of happening right now with their newest park, Universal Studios, opening another park. Scrap makes Ice Age. Okay, so in Animal Kingdom, we have all of Dinosaur Land. We have Dinosaur, which needs to be rethemed. We rode that ride exactly once. Have you ridden it since then?
No, just that once.
Just the one time. That was enough for me. I don't remember any of it. I just remember being absolutely terrified. I'm terrified in any ride that has dinosaurs, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, when I rode it, I was like, at the time, it was before the new Jurassic Park ride. I was like, Jurassic Park is better. So
we haven't done the new Jurassic Park.
The new Jurassic Park, but even the old one was better than the dinosaur. That one
terrified me even more than Dinosaur.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It was like, it was better.
Terrifying to me.
It was better.
It was good, though. Yeah. I don't know.
So I think that's where I was like, I didn't have to ride it again because I was like, if I'm going to ride a dinosaur ride, I want to ride Jurassic Park.
So are they going to retheme Dinosaur or are they going to gut Dinosaur?
So if they still keep with this Zootopia, because remember, Dinosaur is a rethemed indie ride, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know if it's rethemed, but it's the same ride track. I don't know which one came first.
So it's
but even Indiana Jones isn't
it's
that
like
great.
That truck, whatever. So remember, Zootopia, they were going from different
lands,
terrains, or whatever, different biomes. So it's not hard to just like throw in a desert one, throw in a snow one.
Yeah.
A jungle. So
you could. I'm not a fan of that. It's very like glunk ride. Like it's not. I don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think the thing is like they're just going to keep putting. They're going to keep putting IPs because that's what it's good. That is what's going to draw people to.
See, Mike's a Maelstrom.
We never did Maelstrom.
Yeah.
We're park newbies, honestly. Yeah. We've only been going for like the last 5 years. We never did Great Movie Ride.
Yeah.
Which technically, yes, IP, but it was more like broad, just like here's an ode to all things.
Yeah.
All things movies. And now it's Mickey and Minnie's.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites.
I would say it's one of my favorites.
You just hate standing in that line. Like, you get so angry standing in that line. Lee, thank you reminding people to thumbs up the video. That is much appreciated. We are so close to getting 1,000 subscribers.
Yes. That's
wild.
We are, yeah.
Like that's been like a little goal of ours, and we never put like a time limit on it, but just like to get to 1,000 subscribers, I don't know what it is about like 4 digits versus 3 digits. It's a big deal.
Yeah, no, it's
exciting. So, okay, what else do we have at Animal Kingdom?
Prefers indie.
That we could retheme. We have the Boneyard. So we didn't even talk about the Boneyard, which is the kids' playground.
Yeah.
How do you retheme that?
Take out the dinosaur fossils and put in. It's just a playground.
It's just a playground.
I think that's the thing is like it's just a playground. So then put in
more seating for the parents and like better eye line because you can't see like when your kids are running around in there you cannot find them.
It is a big because they have like that kind of that walk that bridge or whatever.
Mm-hmm. So. It's really big. I mean the kids love it, but like I don't like it because you have to chase your kid around because you cannot find them once they take off. Make it Coco and leave it the Boneyard.
Just paint some colorful, alebrijes around there.
I mean, they've got Book of Life now.
Yeah, which is, I'm introducing it to our daughter, so let's see if she I
hope she loves it.
Prefers book. Book of Life is pretty good.
So the music is really good.
Yeah.
The music is really good. The animation is
because
really good.
it's like covers.
Yeah.
So it's like already known music, but then they just like put that mariachi
version of like Creep.
Yeah.
Or Radiohead.
So.
Oh no! Put the little city of rodents from Zootopia. And let the kids run
that'd be kind of cool.
No, and there's just like little rats everywhere.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
What if there's like real rats and they're like, it's so immersive.
It's so real.
Okay, so we've got the boneyard. We have dinosaur, Triceratops spin. In the concept art that they showed at D23, it looked like Triceratops spin, which is like the Dumbo ride, which is like for real. I do have a like blanket. So you don't see my romper. They showed that as like a Moana ride.
So the one thing I was kind of like, of our discussion,
yeah,
and we kind of talked like glazed over it. We talked about it a little bit, but these smaller sections, that's where I was more of like if you're gonna make a land, go for it. Don't half-ass it. And that's what I felt like when you're doing these smaller sections is like, does it feel like it belongs there? Because I wasn't too happy about the Coco and Casita being like right next to each other. Now, if it would kind of like felt separate, but the thing is like, this is the land of the dead, and then this is like the living. Like
those don't tie together.
They don't tie together.
But it's not the land of the dead because you're talking about Santa Cecilia. You're talking about like the living world. But if you think about any of the other lands at Magic Kingdom, for example, like Adventureland, you have the Magic Carpets ride, and wait a minute,
before I think about it, or before I forget, because I'm thinking now, Casita. It has like the little court, like, because a lot of houses in Mexico and like I have family over there. They have like a property, like a compound basically, where people like each of the rooms are like that's their apartments, and there's like that middle, kind of like in Coco, like that's how it kind of is. And what if they had like the bridge of where you're going to the what is it called, the land of
the dead.
The dead?
Yeah.
But then that's where it goes into
the dark park.
The dark park. Anyways, like so that's like what like. But yeah, it's like too fast. Like I want to savor each little area.
But it's like a weird connotation too to like put the two like Latin IPs and then the villains right next to like there's just something about it that's just kind of like you'd have to pull that off in just the right way for it to feel right. Because like Adventureland, you've got Aladdin, you have Jungle Cruise, you have Pirates of the Caribbean. Like there are a bunch of weird things together, but the theming of the whole thing works. So when you think about like Aladdin, Jungle Cruise, and Pirates, maybe that's kind of the same as like Coco and Kanto, and then
that's what I'm saying. Like it's more that like that the black light feel, right? Like where it's like, during the day it's just dark, and not dark, but just kind of like
thorny and
I
don't know.
So, but again, Casita doesn't really go with that. So I don't know.
Coco does.
Coco does.
You could even do like Coco and Book of Life, but I just don't think Book of Life got that much of like a.
Well, that's new. It's new. That's not necessarily. It's a new IP to Disney, but it's not Disney's IP.
It's not Disney's IP, and also Book of Life just wasn't that big of a movie.
You don't think so?
I tell us we loved it, but you don't see a bunch of kids running around as a. Well, actually,
Manolo.
we have Manolo, and we have a Manolo costume. Was it Manolo or was it the other one?
No, it was Manolo because it was the guitar.
Yeah, we had the little mariachi with the little skulls on it and the tiny little guitar. Oh man, thought I was too young for a leg blanket. I literally always have a blanket. If I'm sitting down, I always have a blanket within reach. It's just
feels nice.
I'm cold. Triceratops ride. Played a game and won 4 large Triceratops stuffed animals. That's the thing is like I really do like the little boardwalk games over in Dino Land. Like Dino Land's just like a weird little vibe. It's fun.
There's no reason for them not to have boardwalk games because it's like a city in Zootopia. So it's just gonna be just not dinosaur themed.
That's true. It's fun. I enjoy it over there. So. Actually, like more and more, I feel like we've spent more time over in Dino Land than anywhere else in Animal Kingdom. Like over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, I think just more because like there's room over there.
There's room, and then there's also just like more things for like kids to do over there. Besides just like walking around and looking at animals, which like our kids they're like, that's cool, I guess. Let's go ride a ride.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's for the most part. That's all the stuff in Dino Land. There's also Expedition Everest. Does Expedition Everest? I think there's like an SEA tie-in to Expedition Everest. So does that then become IP because it's tied into the society, or do they make some kind of content about the Yeti?
I think the SCAs travel to Everest. Maybe they see a Yeti. Maybe he's discoing. He's dancing.
Well, the other thing is they have pulled Yeti into
the Mickey shorts,
the classic Mickey shorts.
Like they do like a quick,
He's IP. That's it. Moving on. I'm going to strike him from the list. It's tough to be a bug. We have never done this one.
Nope.
We never will.
Okay.
I don't think that one is an IP, though. Is it themed to A Bug's Life? I don't think so. It's just like a weird show about bugs.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Why not? Why not Bug's Life?
I'm trying to think of like...
We just don't know enough about that.
Yeah, we just don't... Yeah, I don't know.
Stricken.
It is a Bug's Life show, so...
Oh, okay, there you go. IP. I'm taking that off. Cali River Rapids. We do not ride rides at the Disney parks that will get us wet. Unless it's like Frozen, Ever After, or Pirates of the Caribbean.
Like small splashes.
Little splashes. So we've never done Cali River Rapids. But that one, I'm sure, if you're going to make something Moana, make Cali River Rapids Moana.
That would make sense, but the thing is I think that's more themed like the rapids.
Yeah.
So it's not really like the ocean.
Yeah. It's the best show ever. You have to... Don't know. We know what It's Tough to Be a Bug is all about. We were born in the dark. Or we were born at night, but not last night. I will not. Sorry. It's not going to happen. Then the Kilimanjaro Safaris. Do you think they would ever retheme that to include some sort of IP? Because they have changed that little train that you take up to the little area where you can do Animators Academy and like the conservation station. That's now Rafiki's Planet Watch. So that's literally like slapping a Mickey on a Ferris wheel.
Yes. I think that'll be, they're just going to, if they're going to put an IP to it, that is all they're doing. They're just slapping a sticker on it.
Yeah.
I think that has it's a strength of its own of having that safari. Like they don't need something
standalone.
Yeah, they don't need an attraction to get people to go.
Okay. That's it for Animal Kingdom. It's mostly dinosaur rides and then the Yeti. Where do you want to go next? You want to go to Hollywood Studios?
Yeah.
Our favorite park?
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm going to ask the question. Which rides in Hollywood Studios are not themed to a Disney IP? A Disney-owned IP? That is the question. How many are there? And what are they? Because I started going through and pulling the list. And it was interesting.
You're surprised?
I was not surprised. Like, as soon as I went, I was like, well, it's called Hollywood Studios. Like,
it was kind of given.
But here's the thing that's difficult, and I'll kill some time while people think about their answers. It is not, what do you consider an attraction?
That was one of the things that when we were talking about the episode, you were kind of like, well, what's an attraction?
Because like they have a marching band that's technically listed under an attraction. The railroad, the railroad stations.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's a thing that you're gonna sit out for, 5 to 10 minutes. That's considered an attraction.
Is a parade considered an attraction to you? To me, that is entertainment and not an attraction. Is character meet and greet, like going to meet Mickey in Town Square, that is an attraction to you?
Yes, that I would consider attraction. The parade, yes, because you're sitting out, you're kind of waiting for you're consuming time.
So, Beauty and the Beast live on stage.
Yes,
attraction. So what do you not consider an attraction?
Well, like you said, the marching band, I think that
Dapper dance.
I don't think, again, that's where it's one of those things that it wouldn't necessarily be an attraction, but now that they have such notoriety, they are like, oh, I got to see the Dapper dance, or like the piano player over at Casey's. Like, I don't think it was.
That's entertainment.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it wasn't necessarily an attraction, but now that you're like, he's not out all the time, he's just there like at certain points, and you got to go catch him when you catch him.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of like, okay, well, now that he's there, it becomes an attraction because you're like, okay, I'm waiting here.
I guess. I don't know. It was very strange. So I pulled whatever I felt like pulling is honestly what it came down to. There was no like rules. Let me see. Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster. Danny's on the right track. Jacob says Mission Space. That is at Epcot. Just Tower of Terror. If it's under attractions in the
Department of Health and Safety.
Everything is attraction, but not entertaining to everyone. If it attracts you, we will get to Mission Space though, Jacob. Tower of Terror is actually going to have a movie about it in the next year or two. Soon there is a movie in the works about Tower of Terror. So yes, technically, but also no, not.
But it's going to have its, so that was the weird thing is like when it was made, it was kind of like the whole parks, like Universal, where they would make a deal. It kind of goes into our next ride. It makes a deal with whatever other brand.
Like Indiana Jones.
That they didn't have an IP to it, but they said, hey, we want to have this attraction in this park. It was Twilight Zone. They made a ride of this building that was haunted or whatever. Now they are making a story off of the ride or the hotel that was based off of a Twilight Zone scary story.
Very meta.
Right?
Yeah. Which that's the other way. So Disney can either retheme a ride to an IP or they can make content about an original ride.
Yeah.
It goes two ways. But the only other one, Princess and Scoundrels, an attraction. I think we're entertained. Nobody's waiting around for us.
It's an attraction, but doesn't mean it's entertaining.
Like dinosaur.
Yeah.
Rock and Roller Coaster.
Yep.
That is the only one that there are no current plans to. It is not an IP that is owned by Disney, and there are no plans to either make like retheme it to an IP or make it an IP by like doing a show about it or something or a movie. Because it's Aerosmith themed of all things. There were a lot of rumors like during the pandemic because at one point they like closed the gift shop and they took off some of the signs that said Aerosmith and they did some weird things, but it's still definitely very much like Aerosmith themed ride.
Yeah.
But what are they going to change it to?
I don't know.
Have you heard the rumors about what they might change it to? Which would be like the best thing ever. A Goofy movie. And it's Goofy and Max trying to get to
LA.
Yeah. How good would that be?
That would be kind of good.
It would be great, right? And then you get to the end of it and it's like eye to eye.
That would be fun.
That would be a really good one. So I think they could do that because a Goofy movie has like surged in popularity recently.
Which I am so happy for. I am so happy. Like, I loved that movie. I loved watching it so much. And for it to get like the appreciation that it's getting now is awesome.
It would be so good. Because they even had Was it for Mickey's Not So Scary? I think one of the parades that they do is they have Powerline.
No, they have Max in Powerline costume.
It's Max in the Powerline costume. Yeah, that's what it is. But that was new this year.
Oh, it was new this year?
Yeah, it's new this year. So it could happen. Rock and Roller Coaster could become a good
that one would be pretty cool if
I
they
think
did that.
That would be, that's our pick. I'm telling you now. Oh no. Galen didn't know that it went upside down.
Oh, remember?
And it breaks your back. It goes.
I remember my niece, like she was so nervous to ride it.
And you kept telling her it didn't go upside down.
Because I had forgotten. I was like, no, it doesn't go upside down. It doesn't go upside down. And it went upside down.
Whoops. Danny says, I hope they retheme it to Disney's Rock and Roller Coaster and they play rocking Disney music like Powerline, Lost in the Woods, Tarzan. Tarzan would be a really weird one for a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Lost in the Woods would be, it's just that's like a ballad though. That's one of my absolute favorite Disney songs, like of all times, is Lost in the Woods. But that's like a ballad. I just want Kristoff to just like, that's what I would want. I want like Kristoff on the balcony above the theater where they have the Frozen sing-along. And I just want him like singing it to me. And then I want like a couple of Kristoffs to come out. Not Kristoffs, Svens to come out and like harmonize with him. Oh, an attraction. Okay, that's it at Hollywood. That's all we've got. Like literally, that's all we have.
Yeah, everything else is movies.
I think the next logical jump. I'm getting emails, so I gotta close that. Epcot. Let's jump to Epcot. Let's take the Skyliner into Epcot.
This is where I put my business hat on, and I was like, there's so much untapped potential for IPs in every one of those single countries.
Yeah.
Because Mulan, and then you were like today asking like, oh, what would you?
Don't repeat what I said.
What would you put in Canada?
Yeah.
And I was like, the
Turning Red.
So I was like,
it's the only answer.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like there's every one of these countries could have a princess / movie associated with it.
A franchise.
Yeah. And it could just bring more people into each one of them. And it doesn't have to take over the area. It's just like, here's something to kind of bring them over there.
I understand.
Sorry, Siri.
A 4-town concert in Canada. Oh my God. Could you imagine?
They have a stage there.
They have a stage.
They have good music. Like
they do have really good music in Canada. But oh my God, could you imagine a 4-town concert? I'd get like anime eyes like they get in the movies.
So, but I mean, they just, each one of the countries, they bring back a Mary Poppins.
Well, they were going to do a Mary Poppins ride. They were going to like expand out.
And see, again, I don't know if they need to like specifically have like a ride, but just like have one of the buildings in Canada converted over, have one of the, Turning Red, like building, the little courtyard or whatever.
But even if they didn't do anything in Canada for like 4-town, they have the Guardians of the Galaxy sing-along thing that they do in the amphitheater over across from the Americas Pavilion in World Showcase. They do it like during the summer. They could totally do a 4-town one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the same thing. They could just have any kind of concert.
Yeah.
But again, I think it's the world. So it's a difficult thing because the World Showcase, to me, the World Showcase is kind of its own thing because it's like it's its own thing. The World Showcase, which is all these countries.
Yeah.
It's not individuals. Now, them introducing Frozen, like the Arendelle into the Norway area, it's kind of like makes it different.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if you're going to give them a little area, let's give each one of these, like Mexico, you could have Coco, and then make a little space for Encanto, put a little Colombia. I think it's Colombia.
Yeah, it is.
But add a little space in there for, more South America. And then the countries that don't have a movie, let's think about a movie for it.
I mean, I think that's kind of the way they're going, right?
Right.
Like, because we've got France, we've got Ratatouille back there.
Yeah.
They built like a whole, built
pushed it back
the whole thing to put that back there. And even like England, like you can go back into England and there's a little maze thing.
Tea garden, or
like, yeah, a little tea garden. And so they'll have characters out there meeting, but like it would be so easy to put in a Mary Poppins attraction of some sort. It'd be like a cute little, like I imagine like a cute little Peter Pan type ride.
Yeah, it could be.
Right? I don't know. Okay, moving.
Performance of Rogers the Musical. I think they should have, like, that's what they should use those, like, the stages for. Like,
well, they use the stages a lot. Oh my God, my contact is like drying out in my eye. It's about to just like pop right out. They use them a lot for like concerts, like Eat to the Beat. We saw them there. I think they've got other ones, but they use the stage pretty often.
But imagine if they said, "Hey, we're gonna do Rogers for
it'd be packed.
A month."
It'd be absolutely packed.
Yeah,
it was so silly. Like it was, like you're laughing the whole time because you're just like, I cannot believe this is actually happening. Okay. So we're going to move out of World Showcase now. We're going to move up to the front of the Epcot park. I don't know if you saw the news. I think you did because we looked at TikToks earlier. Journey into Imagination with Figment. It's becoming an IP. Disney didn't officially announce it, but Deadline announced that there is a Figment movie in the works.
What I'm excited to see is it's from the guy that did Pokemon, Detective Pikachu.
Yep.
Those Pokemon were like good because it was like that perfect mix of that imaginary, Charizard but it's not like a full dragon. It's like Charizard, but just like realish, realified.
Yeah.
And so it's like they're gonna make a good Figment.
Yeah.
So
hopefully it's not like a Sonic.
So for some reason, when I read it, this is my idea, and because I was thinking Detective Pikachu, for some reason I was thinking Drop Dead Fred. Like, what if he was like a mischievous type of, like, just something like that?
Here's another. We need to confess. We've never ridden Figment.
No.
We have the best of intentions to go ride Figment, but it's never like, let's go do that first.
Yeah.
It's always like, when we get around to it towards the end of the day, we'll do it. And then by that time, we're just like, no, we're leaving.
So.
Oh my God. How good would that be? And Seth Rogen is attached to it somehow.
That's what I'm saying is like, I don't know. I just, for some reason in my head, I'm thinking like, when I thought imaginary, I was like, what if it was like a Drop Dead Fred?
I have not thought about Drop Dead Fred in so long. That was another one of my favorite movies growing up. That was such a good movie. Ooh, there is a Marvel comic series about Figment and Dreamfinder. Oh, Seth Rogen has to be Dreamfinder, right?
Yeah, probably.
Probably. Okay.
See, and then he's like the person that sees Figment and that doesn't want to see Figment.
Oh, that would be really good.
Right?
That would be a good one. Okay. Next up, we got to start running through this. We've been going. We're almost at 2 hours. We're going to leave that one for last. Soarin'. Do you touch Soarin'?
No.
You can't.
No.
Right? You have to have your leaning Eiffel Tower.
Yeah. No, it's going to stay.
The only thing you could do is you could do what It's a Small World did, and you could fly over these.
Well, they have that, don't they? They have soaring over California.
Soaring around the world.
Soaring around the world. And don't they have another one where it's like, it's only for like a limited time?
No, I think it's just those two. But I think sometimes they do, in California, maybe they do like soaring around the world. Like sometimes it's soaring over California, I think. But you could have them so that they fly over Arendelle.
No, I don't. I think that's like.
It would be like Flight of Passage.
Yeah, well, that's
Flight of Passage isn't real.
Flight of Passage is Flight of Passage, but this one is just like.
Which, speaking of which, I know we're going back to Animal Kingdom, but in the 8 very nonsensical scenes that we saw of the new Avatar movie, a lot of it was water based, and so there's creatures that are like banshees, but the banshees fly in the air. These were like the banshees of the sea. And I'm curious if Flight of Passage ever gets an overlay of like waves of passage or something.
I don't think so. I like how you say it like that, but the sensation of being in the air is a lot different than being in the water.
That's true.
So just putting it, in some blue water doesn't make it feel like it's in the water.
Gotcha. I think Seth Rogen sees dragons that aren't there on a regular basis. Oh my God, Lee, it's 5:00 in the morning.
Well, good morning.
Good morning and good night. Go to bed, please. Thanks for hanging out with us. Let's see. Test track. It cannot be Radiator Springs Racers.
No. And that one's a weird one because it's like sponsored by
Chevrolet.
Chevrolet. Yeah. So I think it could be some other car thing, but
the only other thing it could be would be cars, right?
At this point, yeah.
Yeah. But I think Test Track, if something else is due for a retheme, it's Test Track. But also I think there's something weird with Test Track because it's sponsored by Chevrolet. Technically, some of the people that work at that ride are not Disney cast members and they are employees of Chevrolet. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. Like, when you go down, like when you finish the ride and you go and there's like those things to do, like basically you're exiting through the gift shop, but there's like activities to do. Those are like Chevrolet employees.
That's interesting and weird.
On TikTok. So it might not be real.
Sugar Rush.
Sugar Rush. That's a good one. That's a really good one.
You make your racer?
Oh my God, that's genius. Yeah. Done. I'll write that down.
Danny's got that one. He was already thinking about it. So,
Danny, you get all the credit on that one. Gold stars. Okay, here's the last one, and here's why I saved it for last. Jacob already mentioned it. Mission Space. And here's why I mentioned this one last. We have an issue. There's Mission Space at Epcot. There's Astro Orbiters at Magic Kingdom. And there's one more. There's Space Mountain. These are 3 space rides that are not themed to a Disney IP. And when I say Disney, I mean Disney, Pixar, Star Wars, Marvel. We have tapped out on space-related IPs as far as my tiny little brain can think about. Because Disney doesn't have any space IPs. They have Meet the Robinsons, maybe. It's kind of futury.
That was kind of Tomorrowland-ish.
Pixar, Buzz Lightyear. We already have Buzz Lightyear rides, right? So then you move into Lucasfilm. We already have a whole land dedicated to Star Wars. We cannot do another Star Wars one. Technically, Space Mountain becomes Hyperspace Mountain at times. It is what it is. And then Marvel. The space franchise for Marvel is Guardians of the Galaxy. And they just built an entire new attraction for it.
So I almost feel like they would double down on the space theme.
Just generic space.
Because there's Space 220. It's just generic space.
That's a good point.
And it is Florida.
Wally.
It could be. It could be. But I think the thing is like there is something about space that's special to the States. And I think that is something that is never going to go away.
But something like an Astro Orbiter?
Well, Astro Orbiter, I think, could be rethemed.
That could be rethemed.
I don't think it will because it is like a staple in Tomorrowland. Like when you see it, you're like, oh, this is Tomorrowland.
If they took away the giant sorcerer hat.
I could see the Astro Orbiter being turned into an IP, then it being changed to something else.
I could see that.
Mission Space.
So here was my idea for Mission Space. You already have you have Marvel presence in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
What if you completely retheme it and it's not space related anymore and it is now an Ant-Man attraction? And it is like navigating, going from small to big and like trying to complete a mission. Is Ant-Man one that they could have over here? Because Ant-Man is a big franchise.
Because I think the thing is that ride, so this sensation is like a G-Force.
It is a G-Force.
So
but you're going from like the size of an ant to like a giant. I imagine that's got to feel weird.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I could think of. And it's not space related, but it's like space related. I don't know.
Jacob likes it.
There we go. Muppets. God, I love the Muppets. They need to bring in more Muppets to the parks. Really and truly. But I really feel like Muppets can have a place anywhere they want.
I think the place that Muppets has, I think it's sufficient. As again, and this is kind of getting to my.
It needs a revamp, though.
They've tried it. ABC has tried like bringing back the Muppets in different variations, and people love them when they're gone, but when they're there, they don't get the love that they.
Nobody goes and does 3D vision, and it's so sad.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you want it to be more, you have to go to it. Like, I love going to it, but like kind of like how
we've never ridden Figment.
Yeah, we don't ride Figment. It's just like we take other rides over it. Like, hey, we have the potential to go to this ride. You know, go to Frozen or go to whatever. Go to Ride Mexico.
Right there by Galaxy's Edge.
But Figment?
No, not Figment. Oh, sorry, not Figment. Muppets.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, do a couple more bounties or.
I know.
So.
I love Muppets.
So I think that's always like we have to be real with ourselves. Like, are you gonna go and sit and watch these actual rides, or you just want to change it because you want to change it?
Yeah, that's a good point. Muppets could take any of these places. Here's where Muppets, I think, could come in. Yeah. Hall of Presidents. And they're all just Muppets.
You just have Sam the Eagle talking all the time.
We have done Hall of Presidents.
Yeah.
Exactly one time.
Yeah.
And we're only talking about the Disney World parks. I don't know that we'll get to the Disneyland parks because it's a lot. You have great moments with Mr. Lincoln. It's a classic. It's an opening day attraction or whatever. But at this point, like, I think more Walt Disney himself is such a notable figure. I think you could retheme that.
I have Walt given his quotes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody just goes in there and cries.
Watching or listening to Walt.
Yeah. Yes, turn it into a Muppet Show, the Hall of Presidents, because they have in Liberty Square in Magic Kingdom, they have the windows there, and the Muppets will come out and do shows. Why not just like?
I let them. I mean, they can narrate the different stuff. So
I don't know.
Missed opportunity.
Think that's a missed opportunity right there. I think that could work out really well.
Yes, Marnie. Take a little nappy nap. It's a nice soft seat.
Okay, so real talk. The reason we did Hall of Presidents when we did it is I was nursing. And I needed to feed our daughter. And it was a nice 20-minute nursing session. It was perfect.
Yeah. It was a nice little nap.
It was nice. Okay. Space Mountain. We already talked about Space Mountain a little bit. You say don't touch it?
It's not going to get touched.
I think it could potentially permanently become Hyperspace Mountain.
I don't think so.
But I just hope they do a better revamp of it than they did over at Disneyland Paris. Because
no, I think it's. I think having a Space Mountain and a Hyperspace differentiates it enough, but you can't get rid of both of them.
That's fair. Go through the multiverses like Doctor Strange. That's a good one for Mission Space.
Yeah, that could work.
Oh my God, it's the multiverse of madness.
But we'd have to get Marvel at the parks. So,
well, Doctor Strange,
so they're
probably one that they could have. We are in our lifetime. We will see the end of that agreement.
You think so?
I think so.
They're gonna squeeze them out. They're gonna say, "Hey, Simpsons is ours. Give it back."
Yeah, they said, "Oh, you want Simpsons? We want the Avengers."
Well, the thing is, Universal's kind of like, eh.
I know. Poor Universal. I feel like Universal's just like the little brother that's just like, hey man, I'm trying, okay?
Well, see, that's the thing, Danny. It's like, I don't think it matters if they're using it or not. I think it's if it was part of that original package, they can't use it. Like that original, like.
There were like so many named ones.
Yeah.
And Guardians of the Galaxy wasn't named at the time that agreement happened. So they can have other Marvel characters.
I remember there was like this huge Venn diagram that I saw where they had Marvel and they had like, here's all the characters that were owned by Universal for the parks. And there was like Fox, who owned them, Fox, who owned it on Universal, because like they had like Silver Surfer and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And there was certain ones that they could use both, and that was where they had like what's the name? Quicksilver. That's why they had two different Quicksilvers, Fox and Marvel, because like he wasn't part of it.
Justin, how was the concert? He went and saw the Killers tonight.
Dang.
Don't be here. This is gonna be a letdown.
But yeah, like I remember there's like a really cool Venn diagram of like all these Marvel characters.
I want to see that.
And kind of like who had who, like a
if you
property
can
of it.
find that, let's post that on Instagram, because that would be really interesting to see. I love that kind of stuff. Okay, so we've already decided it's going to be the Hall of Muppets. Space Mountain, we're not touching. Astro Orbiter, on the fence. Swiss Family Treehouse. It is an IP, technically.
Yeah.
I know that they had talked about doing like Casita.
But isn't that could be that, or
Disneyland had Tarzan.
Yeah.
And they closed it, and people think it's gonna get rethemed, but no, there's no news on that one yet. But Swiss Family Treehouse is long overdue for a retheme. I just don't know what.
I'm trying to think like if there's anything that could be. Here's a tree.
Here's a tree.
I mean, it's a cool little.
Like maybe Pandora. Like it would have been a good fit for Pandora, maybe. Like a walkthrough attraction. Ewoks on Endor. They couldn't have that in Adventureland, though.
Yeah.
So, like, you think of adventure movies. It's Aladdin. It's Moana. It's...
I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't even think of, like, Luca. Like, there's other ones that are not, like, the big ones.
That's true. Yeah. Treehouse needs a revamp. Maybe they could just... I don't think they would change it to Tarzan, though, because they're changing the Disneyland Tarzan treehouse to something different. Yeah, Brent, there's like a weird... There's an agreement in place.
Nothing east of the Mississippi.
Literally. that Disney cannot have Marvel characters in a theme park east of the Mississippi. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Maybe we should break that down one day. I'd like to understand that better. Okay, there's two more at Magic Kingdom. Enchanted Tiki Room.
No.
Never change it?
No, that's not going to get changed.
I mean, didn't they put Iago in the pre-show or something? And then they took it away.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
They tried. They tried it, but I was like, nah. That's one of those like staples that it's not going to get changed.
Fair enough. All right. I will not touch that one again. Here is the last one. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. You say that, but Splash Mountain is being rethemed to Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which means it will no longer be a mountain.
So Splash Mountain had
the mountain or mountain?
Mountain.
Okay.
Mountain. Splash Mountain.
Splash Mountain.
I think that was already themed something. There's no theme to to Big Thunder. I could see that becoming its own
movie.
Imagine like the old, 49ers type movie and having this, the Big Thunder Mountain. Right. And they have to ride like their little carts out of there type of thing. So I could see it being a movie before it gets changed to something else.
I could see it being like a cute little Pixar movie.
I see it like a live action with The Rock. Yeah.
Like a Jungle Cruise. I was thinking The Rock too, but I'm like, man, get out of our
of
Adventureland, man. I guess he's technically that would be Frontierland. Get out of here, Rock. We need like a Brendan Fraser movie.
He's having a resurgence. Wouldn't that be good? So.
Okay, Brendan Fraser in Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. You heard it here first. Manifest this destiny. Armor Party says we're sounding Midwestern. Mountain. I don't say the T.
Mountain.
I think I have to intentionally say Space Mountain. No, I don't say it. I don't say the T. Mountain. Okay, so if you say the T, that's Midwestern.
Okay.
Do we chew on our vowels like Australians? No. Australians are just Southern English people, right? Yeah, that's what it was. Iago and Zazu were there for a bit. Big Thunder into some sort of cars ride racing through the desert, but that's Radiator Springs Racer. Mountain. Oh, that's a whole conversation for another day. We're getting into the Christmas season, so we'll talk about Steven's big
Santa gripe. Or Santa?
I don't know. Santa. That's not weird. Oh, yeah.
Bigger Thunderer. So, yeah, I mean, I a lot of it.
Could we put Hercules in the park somewhere? We don't have any kind of like mythological stuff in the park.
Yeah. Well, that was that Dinoland area, remember? It was supposed to be like a fantasy area. So,
Hercules in the park would crush.
If they could get it to work, I think it would be fun. Not just put it there because.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know where you would put Hercules. At the top of Mount Olympus, Big Thunder Mount Olympus.
Zeus was the god of thunder. So.
Southern English people know that. Are you in Australia? I think that's why we relate to Australians so much, because we're
Southern.
They're just like Southerners like us. No.
I
sent you a TikTok the other day. I was like, we chew on those vowels. We're not hungry for days. Okay. Yeah, so we'll go through the Disneyland DCA ones really quickly because I know we're hanging out for a while. Astro Orbiter, Autopia. Which is like the Tomorrowland Speedway. I forgot.
I don't feel like that'll. To me, I think that should change into an electric car.
But what kind of electric car would you do?
No, just like all like little electric cars.
Like just like retheme it, but just be like, we're all about clean energy now.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, Big Thunder Mountain. There's something called Davy Crockett's Explorer canoes, which canoes lend themselves so well to doing. Oh, you could do Moana or you could do a Luca.
Yeah.
Like a cute little Luca. But the thing is, it's Frontierland, so. Maybe Frontierland needs to get revamped. That's the ticket. You would revamp Frontierland.
I don't know if I would.
I don't know. Because the next one is Mark Twain Riverboat. There's going to come a time.
See, that would be more Luca.
A riverboat?
No, but like change it into like his little...
That's what I'm saying. Like retheme the whole thing.
I don't know. I don't...
Don't touch Frontierland.
See, I agree. Yeah, see, I
There's
think...
going to come a time when people will take offense to Frontiers. It's just going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. It's going to have to get revamped. Okay, last one for Disneyland Park. The Matterhorn bobsleds.
I think those stay.
Do they become like a Frozen ride?
No, I think they stay in the Matterhorn.
You think it just stays the Matterhorn?
Yeah.
Mark Twain's boat would fit well with the Princess and the Frog. That's true. That's very true because there was a steamboat on that one.
Basketball.
Bobsleds. I mean, they're getting refreshed right now. They're closed for renovation for like a year or something crazy. DCA. These are a little hard because we have not done any of these attractions. There's the Golden Zephyr, Grizzly River Run, which I assume is like Cali River Rapids. There's the Redwood Creek Challenge Trail. Again, not
sure. You got like my face is a face of confusion because I don't.
And then Soaring Around the World, or Soaring across or over California. Galen asks, "Is Disneyland worth it?" I love Disneyland.
This has been the year of Disneyland for you.
This has. What a year it's been. There you go. Matterhorn could be Mount Olympus. Yeah, Disneyland's great. It's just like a really condensed version of Disney World, but you also like miss out on some of the great rides at Disney World. So I think if you're taking a shorter vacation and you're close enough to Disneyland, go to Disneyland. But if you want to like really make like a 3 to 4 day trip out of it, go to Disney World.
Was it you that said that Disneyland's like an abridged Disney World?
Yes.
It's like a good...
It is.
Yeah, you get
a lot of it in.
Yeah.
And you can do it in a shorter amount of time. And the food's good. And you're not walking as much. Like, there's a lot of upsides to Disneyland, but you also don't get, like, the experience of World Showcase and Animal Kingdom and waiting for a bus for 45 minutes and being, like, super angry about it. And, like, you also don't get to eat. It is cozy. Dang it. You don't get to eat chicken strips and French fries in your bed at the end of the night.
Yeah.
Your Pop Century room, watching your Mickey cartoons. That's my favorite part of a Disney vacation.
That is like really nice.
It's like a reward.
It's like a reward.
Do you have to reserve each area like Disney World? You do. Yeah, Park Pass reservations aren't going anywhere, unfortunately. So you do have to make your reservations over there.
But it's kind of just like the beginning of the day, though.
Yeah, and they're like, oh man, like another conversation for another day. Disneyland is like Wild West compared, like literally the Wild West compared to Disney World. Like Disney World has its policies and its procedures and the times that it opens and everything is like by the book. In Disneyland, you call them and you ask questions. They're like, we might release Disney like dining reservations this day. It may be like anywhere between 60 days and that day. And I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, I mean, it just rolls out. And I'm like, what do you, it's like, you just fold it in. I'm like, what do you mean it rolls out? And they're like, we just roll it out. I'm like,
I don't know how I can tell you. It just rolls out.
It's, oh my God, no, you do not need 5 or 7 days to see all of Disneyland. You could do all of Disneyland in like, if you really want to like take everything in 3 days, but you could get it all done in 2 days.
Yeah.
Like easily. And Genie Plus is way better out there. Like there's a lot of upsides to Disneyland, but it's not Disney World. It's not our home.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's it.
I think, yeah.
Let's go watch some Ted Lasso. Mandatory TV viewing time.
Yeah. So thank you, everybody.
Yes.
This was good. This was fun.
This was fun. It's good to be back.
Yeah. Back on the normal schedule.
For now, and then Mosh Isley is going to
then a bunch of parties.
Yeah, it's going to throw it all
so,
off.
Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Until next time.
Until next time.